Well, it has definitely not been lost amongst American residents and people around the world watching the events of today and immediately drawing comparisons to the protests that we saw last summer. On the left side of your screen is what happened when people at a pro-Trump Stop the Steal rally forced their way inside the U.S. Capitol. Very little security in sight. Certainly no National Guard for at least a couple hours. One apparent protester was killed. Now let's compare that to what you see on the right side of your screen from the social justice anti-racism protest last June. More of a mixed racial demographic here. Other differences, a much larger police presence. In fact, the National Guard met some protesters with pepper spray and even tear gas, even though things remained relatively peaceful. Two different scenes, two different causes, and two very different reactions. Why was the response so different, so vastly different between the two protests?
Whenever law enforcement is out in numbers and using force and nothing happens, it's a waste of resources, and why are we paying all these cops overtime? And then when they don't have enough cops out there and something happens, it's why weren't they prepared? Someone needs to answer the question. What was the plan? What was the intelligence? What transpired? And what was the responses?
Former BPD Chief Dan Linsky says whoever was responsible for at least having the National Guard on standby is to blame. Congressman Seth Moulton placing that blame solely on the president.
D.C. was not prepared because the mayor of D.C. asked for the National Guard to be called out, and the president refused. The president refused. The president had no problem calling in law enforcement from all over the country to attack peaceful protesters this summer when they were standing up for civil rights.
The racial disparity not lost on Celtics legend and civil rights activist Bill Russell, who tweeted, "How long would it take to deploy the National Guard if they were black? And how many would be dead? This is not America." He goes on to draw your eyes to the center of the picture, saying, yes, that is a Confederate flag outside the Senate chamber. How do they not know this would happen? And the National Guard, we know, eventually came about 3 hours later and cleared everyone away. And late tonight, we are also learning that New York Governor Andrew Cuomo announced he is sending about 1,000 National Guard members down to D.C. to help out. They'll be there along with New Jersey, Maryland, and Virginia.
Well, a lot of strong National Guard presence now, but we still have the strong disparity between now and last summer. Plus, many are asking, why did it take them so long? I'm sure this is something that officials will address in the coming days.
Yeah, outside of the disparity between the two protests, one of the big criticisms of today is just that. Why did it take so long? You know, Dan Linsky telling me, listen, there was plenty of notice, and even if you did not think that today was going to be so bad, the National Guard should have been there, ready to go on standby within seconds, as opposed to within hours.
Be talking about this for some time, no doubt. Well